Hello and welcome back to another episode of TACHES Teaches. I'm Tash and this is part one in a series on mindset hacks. Throughout this series I'd like to address various aspects of the mental relationship between the artist and their art, and how through subtle changes to the way that we think and approach our work we can not only drastically improve but also have a lot more easygoing fun in the process. In today's video I'm going to talk about judging your own work. For some of you, this may be something that you're aware that you do, while others may not have a clue that they're even doing it. The moral of today's video is an actual fact: do not judge your own work. But don't I need to judge my work in order to get better? On the one hand, it can be useful to some extent to critique our art in order to learn from it and therefore improve in the future. But the issue here lies at the foot of one main point. Is judgment really helping or hindering me from actually making the art? In justice, judgment is supposed to be fair. A case is presented to a jury who will then consider all of the facts, and then from there they'll make an informed decision. It is quite often a lengthy process that is no fun at all for the person or entity on trial, and it's really no different with the application of judgment towards our creative outputs. You see, to make art is to create, and creation is limitless and ever expanding. And to judge art is to destroy, reducing and defining and squeezing down an endless subject into a neat little sentence such as "this is good" or "this is bad." As artists, our sole duty should always be, above all else, to create, meaning our relationship with our deepest creative impulses should always be to create rather than to destroy. The problem is that for a lot of artists, we feel indistinguishable from our work, as if we are our art. And if we cease making the art, we too cease to exist. And while there is a romantic quality to this that may in many ways help you fully put yourself into the work, the problem becomes a vicious cycle when we begin to tell ourselves that the art is shit. For this means that we have internalized that we too are shit. This does not help us to continue and make better art in the future, but instead kills the very thing that drove us to make that something in the first place. If it helps, think of your art as if it were a child. A child is not always perfect, and often it has a lot left to learn. But if you are patient, caring and loving, and you listen to it when it feels confused or hurt, you will do infinitely better in helping it to grow than if you were to scold it and call it names. Perhaps it will reach a point where it decides to grow its hair long, and wishes to be called some silly nickname like Ace Dog. But it should always be our duty to encourage it to express itself fully and however it sees fit. Sometimes it won't want to talk to you, and it will hide away in its room, but instead of being angry and hurt, we should be understanding. We must still make it dinner and be ever ready to chat when it comes back around. You should make a point of telling them every single day that you love them and that you are grateful to have each other. For the two of you are truly in this together. There should be no secrets between you, for when you lie to yourself, they too will be deceived. Your art is the same as a child. It grows through experience. It must make mistakes, free from the fear that you will tell it that it is bad or unworthy. At the end of the day, we have been through many times over what our art will continue to go through, so we must let it know that we are always here to support it and help it over the hurdles along the way. When it feels down and inferior, we must always be there to give it a hug and tell it that no matter what, we will always believe in it. Sometimes in life, the roles will become reversed, and when we have difficulties in our lives, our art will be there to comfort and help us through the darkness. Healthy creativity is about unity through separation. It is about understanding that we are not the work we produce, but the work we produce is still us. It is trusting that our work will always find its way, and that despite the rough patches, the relationship we have with it will be unlike any other in our lifetime. It is knowing deep in your heart that you did your best always, and understanding that that was all you had to give. Art is very much love, and love, after all, is what makes the world go around. So what can we deduce from all of this? What line of thought can we replace to create a more harmonious flow of creativity from deep within our souls? I've often heard the line, "make good art," thrown about, but while a pretty statement in theory, it can become internally conflicting, as we will often then begin to apply our own sense of good or bad to the art ourselves. I think a better thought to hold tight to the heart is simply make loving art. Go forth and make lots of it every day for the rest of your lives, Make so much of it that you don't have time to sit around and wonder, is this good or is this bad? Be a strong and loving parent to your art, and it'll always be there for you when you need it the most. Well friends, that's all we have time for today, but I hope that my ramblings have made you feel some sort of way. If you have any thoughts on this topic, then please leave them in a comment below, as I'm always up for discussions on this kind of vibe. And if you enjoyed this video, please remember to like and subscribe for more of this guy. Happy Sunday and happy creating.